XRP case is far from over. You may have thought that things were wrapped up with the SEC dropping its case, but there's actually more to it than that. We are going to dive into this news today. This is a utility coin update, so we're going to talk Algorand, we're going to talk HBAR, we're going to talk XRP, all kinds of good stuff today. Pera wallet on Algorand announcing major updates. A phishing attack hit this HBAR wallet. Chainlink's CCIP is now live on Hedera, and Ripple buys its own broker. So we got all of that plus the XRP case stuff on today's Frugal BC. By the way, guys, if you like this kind of stuff, please hit that like and subscribe button. Now remember, you don't have to smash it, just press it gently and it works just fine that way too. Also, since this is not exclusively an Algorand video, I just want to give a brief shout out to our sponsors, non-fungible domains for that .algo address that's so helpful, and to Marcus for release an NFT and meme coin project on the Algorand blockchain. But let's get to today's news, starting with this nice little update from Pera wallet. Right from Pera wallet itself. Big news, the Pera Explorer account page has been upgraded with these awesome new features: consensus stats and eligibility checks, always nice to have that, total staking rewards earned, minimum balance required displayed, and charts optimized for larger accounts. You know, the thing I like about Pera wallet on Algorand is they're always building, they're always adding new things, and it's so fun to see. It's just fun to see how they're doing with this stuff. It's really great. This is the wallet I use all the time, so very happy about this news. But that's just a brief little update. Let's get to our next one. And this HBAR wallet, unfortunately, was the victim of a phishing attack. We had that happen on Algorand's My Algo wallet a while back, so we're going to look into this one too. Let's see what's going on. And this comes right from the HBAR Foundation. We have been made aware of a large-scale phishing attack targeting the Bank Social wallet. So if you guys use Bank Social, be careful. DA teams are exploring this incident, and we are actively monitoring the situation. As always, stay vigilant. Someone says, what a coincidence again. There should have been an investigation report 6 months ago when the SLP funds went missing. There are also reports of accounts being compromised without any phishing incidents. Very interesting. They ask, why is the HBAR Foundation announcing it? That's an interesting thing. Did they say anything? That's kind of a good point. I mean, I think they ought to be saying something about it too. You know, it shouldn't just be HBAR Foundation talking about that. So that is a little weird, I will admit. Well, we'll keep an eye on that, and if there's more information, we'll definitely update you on that attack. This one I think is really cool. Chainlink's CCIP protocol is now live on Hedera. Let's dive in here. This is from All In Crypto, great channel, and a good follow on Twitter as well, or X, or whatever you want to say. Just in, Chainlink CCIP is now live on Hedera HBAR mainnet. CCIP will enable Hedera developers to build cross-chain dApps and tokens, accelerating Hedera's DeFi ecosystem growth and adoption. Huge. Pretty big. Chainlink CCIP launches on Hedera mainnet. Well, you just repeated that. Why would someone comment and just repeat what happened? That's weird. Chainlink is an obvious choice. Yeah, Chainlink is very interesting because it just kind of brings all these protocols together. And I'm kind of curious how that will work with Silvio Macaulay's announcement yesterday about the fiat blockchain. I think that's really interesting. I'm just kind of curious how all this is going to play out. But let's go on to the next. And this is at Ripple. The company behind XRP announces that it has bought a broker. Why don't we listen in here? And this is from Paris Blockchain Week. Well, hold on, we'll tune into that in a second here. But this is from Paris Blockchain Week 2025, which just had huge announcement from Silvio Macaulay yesterday. Monica Long, president of Ripple, announced a $1.25 billion acquisition of Hidden Road, making Ripple the first crypto company to own and operate a global multi-asset prime broker. This marks a major step in bridging TradFi and DeFi for institutional markets. That's really interesting. This is going to own and operate its own multi-asset prime broker. Maybe we should, why don't we listen in to what she has to say here?
That's an exciting build-up. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Arjun, and thanks for having me here. So I'm very excited. I think just a few minutes ago, our announcement crossed the wire. So I'm really excited to share with you a deal we've been working on for some time. So Ripple is acquiring Hidden Road, which is a prime broker. They're a very high-growth prime broker, one of the largest as the non-bank prime brokers, and this is a big deal. It's $1.225 billion.
What does it mean?
Thank you.
What does it mean for Ripple's business? Because you've been on a path to really diversify the business beyond kind of how you started in payments, and there's custody, stable coins now, and so what does this add to the Ripple business?
All coming together. So we've talked for a long while about institutional decentralized finance. Many of us here talk about institutions coming into the world of blockchain and DeFi. And this is going to blast that into a new milestone, kind of a new stratosphere. So the idea here is Hidden Road, through its prime broker business, is able to supercharge a lot of what we do. So using Ripple USD, the stable coin, as collateral for all of its prime brokerage services, as well as using XRP Ledger for a lot of its post-trade services. And of course, we've actually known Hidden Road for years because we've been a client of theirs on the payment side to provide FX and those services to payments. So there's many good synergistic opportunities.
Synergistic opportunities. That's such a business buzzword, but I think it makes sense. Like, essentially, they're just vertically integrating, and I think that makes a lot of sense. So interesting news. But the last thing we want to get to is the XRP case. I think you thought it was far from over. There's actually much more to it. We're going to look at something from a business reporter and what she has to say about the case. So first, we got to go back to April 3rd. New and odd filing just now. The SEC government versus Ripple docket an emergency request to present decisive evidence in favor of the defendants and in favor of liberty of the American people. The letter from a man named Justin Keener doesn't make clear what the so-called decisive evidence is or how it would benefit Ripple, but hints at something to do with physical investment contracts he's been collecting. Looking further into Keener, it looks like the SEC recently sued him for being an unregistered penny stock dealer, for which a court has ordered him to pay over $10 million. That's a lot. So Eleanor Terrett, she's the host of Crypto America, which is interesting. So she's a business reporter. She's been looking into some of this stuff. The SEC has just filed an opposition to that emergency request to present decisive evidence in favor of Ripple. We saw filed last week by one Justin Keener. The SEC opposes the motion because they say that the district court lacks jurisdiction over the request as the case has already moved to the Second Circuit. Keener did not file the proper motion to intervene, and it's unnecessary because, as the SEC lawyer points out, Ripple is competent enough to decide on its own whether the evidence in question could help its case. Yeah, interesting. For those reasons, the SEC is asking Judge Torst to deny the request entirely. Well, that's interesting. It's unnecessary because Ripple is competent enough to decide on its own. Was it asking that? I don't think it was asking that. I guess I find that response kind of odd because it's not about Ripple deciding if it's the evidence in question would help its case. I think it knows it would. It's trying to present that evidence to the court. Maybe I'm missing something, but yeah, I don't really understand what's going on there. But anyway, that is our show for today. I hope you got something out of it. Let me know which news was most interesting to you and maybe which one was less interesting. Always leave your comments below. As always, I'm Frugal BC. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the future.